welcome to Dirtwater Sass. Here we are, Episode 3, and this is the series called The Difference Between A and B. A being me, and B being my sister, and we're just talking about our journeys were so different in life, yet we lived under the same roof with the same parents. And so this whole series is about those differences. We're she's my best friend, I'm her best friend. This is what we do, and we laugh a lot about these experiences, and growing up and what we did and the different routes we took and the different journeys we had. But at the end of the day, we both really love Jesus, and we want to use this as a way to encourage those who maybe are going through the things that we've gone through, encourage those siblings who may have been disconnected by drug addiction or some other family trauma. We also want to encourage anyone who's just still struggling with whether it's addiction or whatever is going on in your life, that you find Jesus and just know that he can actually meet you where you are, and you can actually have a positive outcome in life and be able to enjoy life. So today we are going to discuss holidays. Now, so we're gonna laugh. I mean, there's gonna
There's
be
laughter in this. There is.
and you just I know for some it's gonna be like, oh my word, I cannot believe
Y'all are alive.
that we're alive and that we didn't get taken away from our parents, which there were many times that we should have, but we never did. So I don't even think we ever even had a call like that. But anyway, people didn't do that back then. We just didn't do that. Um,
No, it's not like
but
that.
so holidays for us, I just want to kind of set the stage. So when we moved from where we were born in Tennessee, we're from Tennessee, and then we moved a ways away from that. All of our family was back home in Nashville. And so the only holidays that we would come back for, Easter, and that was just with our dad's mother typically, and Christmas. So we spent our whole childhood getting up on Christmas Eve morning, going to Nashville, spending Christmas Eve with my parents, my mom's family, and then Christmas Day spending all day with my dad's mother. We grew up like that. That
Every
was
year.
every year. That's what we did.
Every year. Yep.
And so
It was enjoyable.
I mean, there was a lot of great memories, but
Yeah.
there's some memorable ones.
There's some memorable ones that might have been a little scary.
And again, we talk a lot about drug addiction and what it does to a family. And a lot of our stories, that's the central theme. So you're going to hear that a lot in what we experienced.
Right.
However, we do have permission for this. Our mother has passed away. If you've missed our other episodes, please go back and listen. And our dad has given us permission to kind of talk about this. And obviously our friends and family are very aware of what we grew up in. So,
Yeah.
But so you brought this up. You brought the topic of holidays.
Did, because I thought it would be kind of light. It could have been the both. It's not light. Hang on. Just hold on. You'll hear. It's not exactly light, but there were times that were funny at the time, but there are times that were scary. So just hang in.
So what event are you thinking of first? Because I guarantee you it's probably the one I've been thinking of, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about the event that I think you're thinking of.
Christmas.
Which Christmas?
There's several. Oh gosh, which one? Okay. I want to say the one. I'm sorry.
I know. We're laughing now, and people are probably going to think we're nuts.
No, we're not. We turned out just fine.
We can laugh about it now. Like it wasn't laughable at the time.
No, we were scared to death.
Yeah.
We were scared to death.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So what I remember the most is Christmas. I can't remember what Christmas it was, but we were at one of our aunt's houses, and I remember we got there kind of safely, I think. I don't remember the way there, but I definitely remember the way back.
Well, let's just
But
preface this and say there were many, many times I'm not quite sure how we made it there either.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Uh, it might have been a blank. Just look, we might have closed our eyes.
Yes.
Just hope for the best.
Yes. Yes.
Because there were many times I wanted to jump up and grab the wheel. Okay.
There was one time I did. So anyway.
Okay. Just saying. And this is in a big city. Okay. Let me just say that. With country roads involved, a lot of curves.
Yes.
Okay. So we're just going to say that. Um, it was scary.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the particular one I'm thinking of is everybody was ready to eat dessert and open presents. And everybody was having a great time, and mom and dad were sitting over there. And I always remembered this is going to be mom's wrapping paper was not near as good as our aunt's.
We were we were not as well
we were
off.
the we were yeah we weren't. It was the Walmart,
We
you know.
were yeah, we were not as well off.
But we were. That's the thing. We were.
We could have been.
No, we could have been, yes.
Yeah.
But choices, like I said, choices set you back. Um, but I remember when everybody was opening presents and when it would come around to Brooke or Ashley, this is yours. And I would look over at my parents and they were just dozing off, over cake. And I was like, gosh, that cake must be good. But I would stay so close to my sister because I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. Um that was the most probably humiliating times of my life. Um and I'm telling you, if you're listening and you have an addiction, let me assure you that your children do know. Um they do know. Okay,
Sure.
you're not hiding anything.
Yeah.
Um we can see it. Um but just the memories of when I was opening a present or my sister was, and the look, the feeling of looking at everybody else watching them, that was so embarrassing. Um, and then we had to get in the car.
Just like yes, and they couldn't even keep their they couldn't even keep their eyes open.
You can't even keep your eyes open eating a bite of cake, and cake is good. Cake is good. Cake is good. Um, that was, I think, the most memorable. And it was always like, oh gosh, uh, it was just, they wanted a plate to take home, you know. Nobody else wanted that. They always wanted to just pack it up,
And they
load it up.
never brought a dish.
Never brought a
Um,
dish,
ever
never contributed.
contributed ever. They didn't even purchase the gifts that were giving out to the other family members. My grandmother did that. Our grandmother did that.
And it was always from the CD shop that she
Yes,
worked at.
yes. It was
Yes.
always CDs because that's where our grandmother worked. So it was always music. So our parents contributed nothing,
Nothing.
nothing to the night.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. And everybody knew.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like we're walking in with shame for no reason.
It's funny that you talk about how you were feeling because I don't remember how I was feeling. I just remember the memory. And my memory, like you have that memory at one of the dinners, I have the memory, and I don't even know if we're talking about the same night. I'm sure we're not. I'm sure we're talking about another
There
Christmas.
were several.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I was wearing. Like I remember what I was wearing, and we were sitting at the dinner table because it would always be this long dinner table. And I mean, and my father, all of a sudden, his face just fell in his plate. Do you remember that? I mean,
Well,
it didn't go all the way in the plate, but it got to the plate until he like caught himself, and everybody is just like, I can still see it happening. My and
how did you feel in that moment?
I don't remember how I felt. I just remember the moment. And actually, our mother was very alert. For whatever reason, she was very alert that night. I remember
You
exactly
wearing
what
a black sweater that night?
she was wearing a black and gold outfit.
I remember that.
She was very alert. She was very entertaining. I don't think she was on anything at all. Like, but I'm
I
sure whatever I felt, my mother had to feel disgust.
know, of
I
course, because
because
she always felt less than. So that had to make her feel some certain way, you know?
yeah, but I mean, he couldn't even. I mean, he could not even keep his head up the whole night. Like I remember that night so vividly. Like everything about it. Like I remember everything about it. And again, he was always the one driving, no matter what.
No matter what. And I've got a story on that one.
And
But
we got
uh,
back in the car with him after that
we would have to drive back, what, 30 miles?
for 30.
At
Yes.
least 30. Yes. And I remember holding on to my sister, which let me remind you, my sister is very independent.
I feel like you've said that multiple times.
Yeah, I've said it a lot through my life. She's 4 years older than me, so me being an 8 year old and her being a teenager was like two different worlds. And I'm looking to her for some kind of safety. But where does she go? You know,
But
um,
but
it's not like I can
it's interesting that you had that thought because I don't think I ever had the thought that I had to protect you.
trust. That's what I just said. That's literally what I just said.
But a lot of
She's
times,
not. She's not a.
I
She's a
and
great mom, but
I don't I don't know why. Like I don't think I ever had that thought. Like I never
because
had.
I think you felt like you had to protect yourself,
I mean,
or
I don't think I ever had that thought either. I think it was I don't know, but I know a
I don't
lot.
know, but you didn't care.
Yeah, I don't really know, but I know a lot of older siblings are in this situation and their lives get ruined because they have to take care of their younger siblings in these situations.
I already know. That's why with my oldest, I'm dealing with that right now.
So I know that is very real for a lot of
It's very real. It
and
is.
and maybe what the advice I have seems selfish, but in the end, I feel like my choice was actually the best. I
You
feel
had to do what you had to do
and
to.
yeah, and it also allowed me to be able to take care of you later on, which I don't think I would have ever done that if I would have stayed. I would have been burnt out.
I know. I
I
would never dream that for you, but I did cry when she left. I did hate her for just a minute.
I did
I
not
said,
cry.
"Why did you leave
Not
me?"
way to go.
I know. I know, but I was so mad at her when she moved. I was because she was everything. She was my rock. Um,
Gosh, you're
she
silly.
what? No, see, that's what she thinks, but this is what I think.
Okay, so let's get back to the holidays.
See, she don't like to talk about it.
But
She don't like to talk about it. Let's get
for
back to the
whatever for whatever reason, I'm gonna talk about it in Easter, and I don't know if this is negative necessarily, but it does go back to something that we had to face a lot with our grandmother, and which was my mom, our dad's mom. But for whatever reason, I had this memory of an Easter. I remember again what I was wearing, and we would come to Nashville for Easter for my we were her only grandchildren. So my dad was an only child, so we were her only grandchildren.
which was awful. But anyway,
Yeah. And and we would always go to her little church, which we grew up in. That's where we would go when we lived in Nashville. So we were very connected to this church. For a long time, we would come back and go to that church actually, but we would always go with her. It was a neighborhood church. Remember when we used to have neighborhood churches? Yes. Yes. And yeah, and so we would go back, and it never failed. My dad would be the highlight of the day. And it was, you know, it was all about him. Like, it was all about him all the time. And, and I don't know if it was significant at the time. I just remember feeling like, "Well, we're here," but it was just always about our
it was
dad.
absolutely, absolutely.
When we knew just the day before they were high as kites, and we probably had to take the bowl of ice cream that was falling out of his hands at nighttime and pick up after him, right? Like,
Yes, 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 absolute.
okay.
Okay, what is so fantastic here?
And the other thing that I want to say is that our parents didn't stop using drugs when they would come visit at Nashville. Like
No, it
they
got
would
worse.
they would use at my grandmother's house. She knew it. She denied it always. She denied their drug.
Just what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? It was just like it didn't exist.
No, she would never hear us. She would never listen to us. Even when we would walk in the doors,
Yeah,
we would be crying from leaving the family's Christmas party and watching my dad's face falling
she
apart.
never cared.
She would be so mad at us for crying. I mean, she would be so upset at us for, now that I think back, probably telling lies. She thought we were telling lies.
No. Well, she figured that out, and that's another episode.
Well,
That's a whole nother episode.
yeah. So we also had to deal with that. You know, we had to deal with the fact that our grandmother, who literally kept us out of from living in homeless shelters at times. I mean, if it wasn't for her, no telling
Where we would be, or
what
what
she.
clothes we would be wearing, or what shoes we would be wearing, or and it's not that she did it because um, of us. She just tried to um, do what our dad would not do.
Maybe I don't want to put words in her mouth. I don't know, but
Well,
it feels like that.
it feels like that. That's what it feels like. I don't know for sure, but it feels like you're trying to cover up what he should be doing, but he can't do. So you're gonna, you're not gonna let him look.
What he chooses not to do, not that he can't.
Chooses. Let me say that
Yeah,
exactly. Chooses.
yeah.
Yes.
And again, this is what drug addiction does, right? I mean, how many addicts never get well because a parent or a spouse or someone that's supposed to love them to wholeness completely denies the hell they're living in because they think that's love, right?
Right.
They think it's love to just ignore it, let it go, deal with the abuse, deal with the laziness, deal with the poor choices, deal with the consequences, when that's not love at all.
It's not love.
Not love at
It's
all.
no,
It's
no,
enablement, and you're actually making other people's lives hell as well. Um,
absolutely.
but again, I don't know what she was supposed to do, right? Like I don't there were kids involved. So I don't know what you do when there's kids involved. Um, it was just always her trying to make up for his lack, but
Right.
never ever, um what are
Sorry.
you doing?
I had to move my computer. It's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, but never realizing exactly what I don't know. You threw me off with the whole moving part.
Well, I had
I
to.
lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. I had to. I had to.
Doing? We're in the middle of a podcast.
No, I'm sorry. I had to.
Gosh.
Is my lighting still good?
Yes, your lighting is still good, but we are recording. You know that, right?
Yes, I know. And I think they'll think that's funny. You gotta have some humor in this.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
but I'm listening. Go. I'm
All right.
listening.
It's your turn.
Okay, I think one of what you were talking about with her, I think she always tried, but and she tried to make us happy. She did every holiday. I mean, we had presents galore. We had everything. We had more presents, to open than any kid should ever have. But our parent, I'm gonna say this, and this it's not gonna sound bratty, but it will. He always had more, and I remember when we would leave, um, I always thought that she was crying because we were leaving. It wasn't because we were leaving. It was because he was leaving. And like I said, I've got a whole nother podcast on that story. Um, we always thought that it was about us, but it never really was. And there's a whole nother story in that.
Yeah. And that's a story that I can't speak into because I wasn't a part of that story. Um,
And
we
please
can
believe me, it's a story. It is. It's sad but true. Which contributes to I think it stems from a lot of just what I've been through and everything like that. And my sister had to go through it too.
Yeah, for sure. For
And
sure.
it's kind of hard for me to talk about things like that, but I'm gonna be strong. Um, but anyway, speaking of holidays,
What about you mentioned all the Christmas presents? We talked about this earlier, and now we can look back and realize, I know as a parent, I don't expect Christmas presents. I'm an adult. Like, what do I need Christmas presents for? Right? Like, Christmas is for kids. Like, that's it, right?
exactly, Christmas is for kids, but me and my sister would be opening presents, literally opening presents, and we were through, but our parents would still be just, and it was just crazy. It's like they never stopped. And we would be sitting there, and of course, we would be grateful. We were grateful for everything, but they had twice as much as we did. They're adults. At 8, 9, 10, how long did that go on?
I mean,
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
until she lost her job, probably.
And she probably spent every bit of money that she had. alone just for her dad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it showed because by the time she went into a nursing home, she had nothing to show for
Nope.
anything. Nothing.
And
She had
nothing.
nothing.
She got stuck in a nursing home and had life insurance policies galore.
On everyone but herself.
Right. Um,
Well,
that's, yeah.
she
No,
never had a life insurance policy on me. She had a life insurance policy on
mom and dad, bless you.
things for sure. But I mean, she never had anything on me.
No, yes, she did. That's a lie. Yes, she did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She did on you and me, but they always got cashed out
That's right.
without
That was
you.
the system that her and my dad used, actually.
Yep.
They would open life insurance policies on people in the
Yep.
family and then cash them out.
Cash them out. Do you not remember?
I totally forgot about that. But yes, like literally. And even up into her death, she had a friend paying for my dad's life insurance policy. Again, she doesn't have one. She paid for my dad's. And and she ended up having to be cremated because she didn't even have a life insurance policy on her. And my dad can't pay for a candy bar, much less a $20,000 funeral. So, I mean, and quite honestly, my mother was buried, but it wasn't because of my dad. It was because of her
It's a her
family.
aunt.
Her family buried her. So my dad has contributed nothing, nothing.
Do you not remember? Okay, so you remember? Okay, so dad took out a life insurance policy. This has nothing to do with the holidays, but he took out a life insurance policy on the kids. What was it, like 7, 8 years ago? No, eight, maybe 8 years ago, and called to ask me to cash it out. So I think that was something that was a trade that he kind of learned from Mimo, and I think that was a way for her to um, make it through, maybe with paying for all the holidays, Christmases, birthdays, things like that. She did what she had to do.
I mean, every extra dollar went to my parents.
Yeah,
Every extra.
anything. Yeah,
There was no retirement, there was no Roth IRA, there was she never owned a house. She was always a renter.
and
She never drove a car. Every penny that she could muster up went to my parents.
yeah. Oh,
So,
well,
but again, I we as we're talking about the holidays, it's important to realize that because as children, we were kind of known. I mean, I know I was known among my friend group that whatever I asked for, I'm getting. Like whatever, whatever I. She worked in a CD store, so we always were going to concerts. We were always had the upcoming CDs. Like we always had that. That was kind of our childhood, which is a positive, right? Which is a great
right,
thing. Again, it's
right.
part of the good memories we had. Um, but at the same time, when we look back now, we realize we can see past all that and realize that she was funding the hell that we were living in.
I
Like
know.
she didn't do it intentionally. She thought she was doing everything out of love, right? But she would because when they would walk out of her house on Christmas Day, now mind you, we would come in Christmas Eve and literally leave right after we open presents. We're not hanging out for a few days. We're not doing any of that. Like we come in twice a year, Easter and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Like that's all our parents would come in for. So and they would go home with thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars. So you know that that next week we could do anything we wanted to.
Oh, for sure. They were going to be out of it.
Out of it. That money did not go towards anything for us. None of it. Um, she knew that, and that's okay on her part. Um, but the fact, I think what bothers me the most about when we did come in for holidays, was the fact that we had to, people knew,
Yeah.
and we rode off in that car, and they knew. And I just don't think I have the conscience to let that happen to any child, especially family of my own. That was this that those were very scary times. I was smaller, but it didn't change that for you. I'm just saying I was scared to death sometimes. It wasn't a holiday, but I will bring this up while we're on the subject. I was at a friend's house. I've told you about this. And she would always get up and go to her parents' bed at night every time. And they lived way out in the country. And I would wake up and I would just be in the dark, you know? And it scared me to death. So I got up and called mom and dad one night, and it was like 11 at night. Well, dad sent mom to pick me up. I don't know if she was okay when she left, but when she got there, she was shaking and doing this, like, she was on a certain medication. And by the time we got down to the end of the driveway, it was on a backcountry road. She wanted me to get in the driver's seat. Like I said, I think I was 8 years old. And I had to teach myself how to drive a stick shift. I'm just saying it, and I cried the whole night. Um, it was just very, you know, these are the things that you don't realize you're doing, um, you know, to your children when you choose that life over something so much greater, something so much greater. Um, you don't realize what you're doing to people when you behave that way. That's all I'm saying. I,
Yeah, and that does tie into holidays because there are memories where I would have to lean over my dad going home just to stay on the road. And again, I was leaning over him with no seatbelt on at all, trying to drive a car. So I do have that memory. And the last memory I guess I want to talk about, which literally destroyed the family and it hasn't been put back together, but even before my mom passed away. Our last big of family event was a family photo, and it was and
gosh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
and anyway, it ended up that our father stole cough medicine out of the medicine
Gosh,
cabinet,
I remember that.
and it was prescription, and drink it all. Drink it all. I don't have a memory of it affecting him while he was there, but I remember the after effects of what had happened, and it was a blow up.
Do you remember that phone call? Do you?
I think I do, but I
Okay, so there was a phone call made from where it took place, and I picked up the phone because I heard Dad arguing, and I wanted to be nosy. I was a kid, and I picked up. You know how you used to back in the day, you could hold the button and they wouldn't hear you.
yes.
Okay, that's what I did, and I heard everything. I heard everything. And I clicked off and I said, "Stop talking to my daddy that way." I did. I defended. I didn't know exactly what, but I said, "Stop talking to my daddy that way." And I didn't know what was going on. I was just a kid. But I remember that. I do. I do. It was the embarrassing things like that that took place. And I don't know what I was standing for, but I always stood by my family no matter what.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's probably a whole nother episode. And I would say the public probably would want to ask me, like, why are you still involved with them? Right? Like, why are you still here?
Right?
And quite honestly, I would get that a lot as a teenager. Oh, why do you still talk to them? And as an adult, and I've had to do a lot of things for my parents.
Because that's what we do.
But again, I go back to the Bible says to honor your mother and your father, and there's no exceptions to that. There's no conditions.
Right.
And
Right.
so that's what I live by. Like that's
Me too. You know that. You know that.
um
I mean, I'll always honor, I won't always support things.
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean. But
I do.
I'm going to honor them as my parents. And I get that too. You know that.
Yeah.
But I'll always love them.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah. So,
Well, we're gonna wrap it up, and we laughed a little bit. We could have laughed a little bit more.
a little bit more on that. We could touch back on it because it really, you can't sum everything up,
I
you
always
know,
thought it was funny to make memes because memes weren't around then.
right?
But that's kind of mean, I guess. But anyway, I mean, we can laugh about it now. So I guess I say that now, and if you're a parent and you're listening to this, I I guarantee you your kids are going to have stories like this. And what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want them to be talking about if they ever have these conversations? What do you want them to say about you? What are the memories that you want them to hold on to? What are the things that you're ruining by your addiction? Not that God can't redeem you,
That's
but God
right.
meet you where you are, and not that God can't redeem your past, but why? Today, I urge you, if you're sitting here and you're dealing with an addiction and it has come to your realization that your kids have been negatively impacted and have horrible memories because of your addiction, stop it. Just stop it. Just hand it over to the Lord and let Him help you leave a legacy and clear up your past. It can be redeemable. And you can now start today, make good memories that replace the bad ones. So I encourage you to really think about what you're doing. If you're a parent, if you're a young adult, if you're an older adult that's still struggling, addiction is ruining your life. It is not your friend, it is your enemy. It will never love you the way you think it's going to love you. It is from Satan, and it will come to steal, kill, and destroy everything that God wants to do for you. Every good memory that the Lord wants to bestow upon your children with you, Satan wants to kill it. God is a good God. And so I encourage you to trust in Him, be redeemable, leave a legacy that your kids can be proud of. And we will see you next time. Bye bye.